the question that we've been asked is, so what kind of checks does uLaw support? uLaw supports several kinds of checks. Like, you could order top checks, like, checks like this. You could order middle checks, and you can also order bottom checks. Like, so what we would do is, based on how this check is, we would actually fill in the information. Then now the dimensions we are sharing with you, like we generally prefer, like, this middle section is about 3.5 and the bottom is about 4 inches. If you're going with a middle check, the top should be 3.5, then the check in the middle, and then the bottom is 4. And if it's going with the bottom, then it should be 4, 3.5, and then the check gets printed in the bottom. Now remember, these checks already have the MICR code, the check numbers are there, your information is there, the bank's information is there. We only will fill in these details, right? Like, we'll only come in and fill that. And sometimes you can even get checks like this, right? Like where it's just a blank sheet of paper with just the check paper on top, and then rest we need to fill. Now, if you order papers like this, checks like this, not checks that are with pre-filled information, we can fill that too. So I'm going to show you in uLaw how to do that. So now under the settings, if you go under accounts, you can pick what kind of check you have, like, whether it's a top check, a middle check, or a bottom check. So I'm going to choose it's a top check, right? And I'm going to say, like, hey, the print bank details are in the check, so I don't have to print them, right? Like, just mark it as a no. So make it a top check and mark this as a no. And now if I go into my accounts panel, and if I generate a check, so let me just generate a check. I'll say print check. The date is today, the format is there. Let's say it's $50. It's for John Jimbo. I can give the description, some title, insurance, or something like that, right? Do an apply. I can even give more. I can put both the remittance if I want remittance 1 and remittance 2, and I can add more description, like, what is this about, right? And download the check. Now, when you download the check, you'll clearly see that because we now said it is a top check, right, it will align with that format. So as you saw here, so if I place the two next to each other, it prints the top, that's your remittance 1, and that's your remittance 2, right? Now, this cannot be printed on an empty check like this, right? Like, because this one needs more information, like your check number, your details, and all stuff like that. Now, to do that, you would still go to the same page, right? Leave this as a top check because it's a top check, but then you want uLaw to generate all the bank details. We could do that for you, right? Let's save that. Now it gets pretty interesting because when you actually go to print a check, a lot more information you need to fill in. Like, you need to say, let's say I want to print a check. You need to tell us whether it's a trust check or a general check, right? And if it's a trust check, you need to choose the trust account that you want to choose, right? And let's first go and see what is there, right? I'm going to go into the trust account. And you see here, you can give information. You can say it's a TD bank, and this is your, entire bank account. So you can say, hey, this first part is my branch. This is 010. That's CIBC. So let's change this to CIBC, right? So that's CIBC. And then that's your account number. Then you can give your address. You can say, hey, I'm at Mississauga Road, Ontario, right? Mississauga. You're at Mississauga Road. You should be at Mississauga. And give the entire address. Now, comma separate the addresses, hyphen separate the details of the branch, and then semicolon separate the information. So again, I'll repeat. It's CIBC Bank, semicolon. Then the 3 information, like, your branch, your transit number, and your account separated by hyphen. Then you can either put a semicolon or a colon or even a pipe, one of the 3 to separate it. And then you can give the entire address and you will hit the save button, right? So now we have declared this as a CIBC bank, with all your information. Now let's go and generate the check. So if I would now generate the check, right? And I can choose which one. So in this case, I'll choose this. Now I need to put the check number that I wanted to print it. Let's say it is 2323. I can say the amount is 100.10 cents. Say it's title, pay to the order of City of Ottawa. There you go. You can give the description as title, insurance, and you can apply. and you can even give a secondary description too, which I'm going to skip, and you indicate that it's a trust check and hit the download button. Now you see that the check will be very, very, very different, right? Like, the City of Ottawa check will align with actually this. If I'm going to paste the empty page, right? You see that, and let me put it in 100%. So that way. Oops, sorry. That way we can align the two, and you would see that it will exactly align. Like, so that's your top part of your check, and that's your this one, and it aligns, and it'll print everything. So basically you'll now have your brand, your bank information, the one that you entered, stating that it's a trust account. It gives you all the information here, City of Ottawa, $1,000 your per, and then your MICR number is here. Like, so as you saw here, like 2323 the check number, your branch is 010 CIBC, your account number, everything is generated. Then your two remittance are here, and also remittance has all the details about the check number and stuff like that. So just to summarize, under settings, if you have checks that actually are blank, like this is what you bought, just check papers, and you want us to generate the banking information, right? We strongly recommend that you go down here and in the print details tell us that, hey, that you want us to generate the banking information, right? So, and once you do that, the rest of it is exactly the same like before, like where you could print checks. The only primary difference is, like, you're not using these kind of checks, but you're using these kind of checks.